Okay, Pledgeme video update 3. Thought I'd tell you a little bit about where I'm at with Recalibrate. I am editing at the moment. When we get the money, a proper editor will come through, and also a co-writer or a ghostwriter that will come through and work with me so that it can all flow and that it can all be in the same style. I pretty much write in any style that I feel on the day, and we need to make this flow, and we need to get it so that it's readable for you all. I have been editing in the last couple of weeks, and I've gone back to some places that I hadn't really thought about for a while, and it was definitely interesting. It was a little bit stressful going through some things and remembering some of the stuff. And what I really wanted to talk about is abusive relationships and how easy it is to get into them and how hard it is to get out of them. When I ended up in an abusive relationship, first of all, I never ever thought I would be in an abusive relationship. I was always the one that was championing everyone else's causes. I was out there standing up to bullies constantly if people were attacking my friends or doing anything like that. It was always me that was the first to charge in and say, hey, you can't do that. But when it was myself, it didn't really seem like I could stand up and I could say stop or please don't. And abusive relationships don't start out abusive. The person that I fell in love with was so charming and so funny and chivalrous, oh my goodness, and generous and kind, and really made me feel so special. And I was more in love than I'd ever been. I'd never even felt that before. And I really thought that he was the man of my dreams and that my life was going to be fabulous and amazing. And very slowly and subtly, and so subtly that often I didn't even know it was happening, the control would come in just a little bit. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? I need you here. Or all of a sudden it would start becoming really hard to get to see my friends and my family. Even if I had commitments that I'd made with them, something would come up and get in the way, and I wouldn't be able to go see them, or I wouldn't be able to talk to them on the phone, or I would have to cancel plans that we had. And still at this stage I didn't realize that I was being controlled, because everything was so subtle and everything was so, it was just a little incremental steps all the way. And by the time it got to the point where there were threats, and the threat was in his voice, and I thought, oh my goodness, this could be dangerous. But I loved him so much that I thought, oh, but he would never hurt me. He would never hurt me. He loves me. And I see this so much now with young girls, especially with teenage girls, who, they might be in a relationship and the boy all of a sudden says, I don't want you seeing that person. I don't want you going here. Oh, I don't like him. You can't talk to him anymore. Don't wear that. Don't wear this. Or they fly off the handle and they get really angry for a very little reason. And it could be that maybe they pushed them. Like we're not escalating straight to being punched in the head and having somebody chopping your hands off. These start off very subtle and very small. And when you are that in love with somebody and they do something, you think, well, I always want to see the best in people and I want to forgive them, and you forgive them for this one thing and then you forgive them for the next thing, and then before you know it, you're stuck and you're embarrassed. And when I first started going out with the man that abused me, I was strong, I was independent, I was educated, pretty intelligent, ambitious. I knew what I wanted. I was already climbing the corporate ladder at work, albeit slowly, and it seemed like I really knew what I was doing and where I was going, and I had such a fixed idea of what was right and what was wrong. And when we were together, it was so beautiful. And I think that there's a real danger in that, because women, and I mean, this isn't just women, you don't have to be a female to be abused in a relationship. Sexuality, sexual orientation, gender identification, all of those, it doesn't matter what colour you are, it doesn't matter what your religion is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Abusive relationships come in all shapes and sizes with every single part of society, and it could so easily be your daughter, it could so easily be your mother or your sister, your cousins, your brother, your aunties, your grandmother. I mean, it could even be your wife. How have you been treating her? And a lot of people, this part of the reason I want to put this story out here is because people need to talk about it. People need to understand that abuse is going on and that it is so rampant in this country. 1 in 3 women in this country experience abuse from an intimate partner in their life. That is ludicrous. And I feel like I've healed, and going through and editing some of these things, I've still got a few things that I need to work on. But the idea that there are so many women right now that are living in pain and living in fear and walking on eggshells, that really hurts me, and that really makes me very determined to keep doing what I'm doing, and to make sure that no matter what happens, that Recalibrate gets out there, because I don't want these women to be hurt. I don't want people to go through what I had to go through. For me, I was lucky. I survived, and then I found out how strong I was, and in the process I became a really good healer. I know how to heal myself. I've been to hell. I know how to get back, and I know how to help other people. But that was a really long and hard road, and part of it, the biggest part now for me, is getting this book out there so that I can change the culture that we live in, so that I can do my part to help everybody that needs it, because nobody should have to live in their homes in fear. Nobody should be abused. This book is for everybody that's ever been bullied. This book is for everybody that has ever had to deal with somebody that told them that they were worth nothing. It is for anybody that wants to take the power back, anybody that's lived in fear. I really want to take this message out to the world, and I want to help people. I want parents to know how easy it is for their beautiful daughters to get into such horrible, horrible places, and so how hard it is to get out. When I, after everything happened and I ended up in hospital, we owned so much stuff together and everything was very messy, and he refused to deal with lawyers. He refused to deal with anybody. So he had me over a barrel. I had no choice. I had to do what I had to do to keep myself safe, and that meant visiting him in prison so that I could sort things out, because there was no other way. And people think, oh, once they're locked up, that's it, that's the end of their reach. That's not. A lot of people